A decent start to the night. We had Momento Mory, who obviously, when you look at the horse on paper, he's pretty lopsided, right? Here's a world champion, America 51 and 4, 143,000 made, racing against a bunch of conditioned horses at Northfield. You would think he's supposed to win, but you have to factor in that he's a 3-year-old, right? It's his first start back. It was funny. I literally got a call from the judges, and they said, Anthony, we're getting a couple of calls about your stretch drive and Momento Mory, virtually alluding that I didn't try hard enough. I said, I'm going to tell you what, guys, 28 years I've been driving horses. I have never in my life got this phone call, ever. Now, I guess I can go back and say I didn't pull the earplugs and, I didn't really chase him through the wire. But you have to understand, he's never raced without hobbles before. He's trained down, he's schooled, he's qualified, but he's never been in a race without hobbles, ever. Compounded to that, he hits his right jack, he hits his left knee. I had a lot of trouble getting him into the passing lane safely. Had I been able to just feather him to the outside and let him rock, I'm a winner for sure. There'll never be a time where I'd rather be in the paddock taking my number off than in the winner's circle getting my picture taken. Has never happened, will never happen. I said, furthermore to that, anybody that complains about it, feel free to give them my cell phone number, and I'll be happy to talk to them about it. I know if you're wagering on the horses, you want to see the earplugs out and the horses racing right to the wire. I get it. But I would think as a seasoned handicapper, you'd have to look and see what was going on. His qualifier wasn't spectacular. And I didn't, quite frankly, even know what I was going to do until they said go. Had there not been a recall and Momento Mory wasn't maybe a little warmer than I would have liked to see him the second time around, I might have got away 7th or 8th with him, quite frankly. I just knew he was unsure of himself after the recall. I brought him in perfect. We were coming up to the gate at perfect time. I was looking left and the lights go on. Now, here's a horse that has always been a little revvy at the gate. Now he's at a recall. Now he's up on top of the gate going into the turn. He doesn't know what's going on. He's getting a little frazzled. There isn't a whole lot to him to get frazzled. So I got him to settle. Let him just jog along slowly for a minute, which was miraculous in its own. And then as I approached the gate the second time, he calmed. So he has matured quite a bit as a racehorse, as a horse, understanding his job. I cleared to the front. There was no problem. I just roared to Chris to come back around. Keep in mind. And here's another factor. And I don't have to tell you guys out there if you're betting on horses. I'm a 3-year-old colt. I'm on a 3-year-old colt, first start of what we hope is a pretty decent year in against aged horses. The horse that won the race has 50 lifetime starts and winning 58 last week. The horse that I just beat for second at the wire has got 15 wins or something like that. And America 54 at the coin, which is Speedway, but so is Kentucky. These are aged horses. I hope anybody that complained, I hope they tuned into this video tonight. And listen, you have every right to complain. I watched the replay. Earplugs in, going under the wire, just got up for second in a non-winners of 4 with a horse with 3 wins. I get where you're coming from. There is no shame in asking, hey, I'm going to need an explanation as to what happened here. I'm going to need a little help as to what happened. And I'm happy to do that. So I hope that everybody that complained about the stretch drive watches the race tonight. Make no mistake. As I said, and I'll reiterate it, there has never been a time in my life where I ever wanted to finish second or wanted to finish third and not win. Ever. Not in 28 years as a driver. I haven't done it near as much as I wanted to begin with. But if you watch what I'm talking about with Momento Mory, just take a second, rewind the race to the head of the lane. You can see where he's trying to come to the outside, and I force him left. Now, when I force him left, when he switches his leads, so when the horses switch their weight coming into the turn, into the straight, they'll get up and he'll hit himself. If you look closely at the boots that Momento Mory wears, high trotting boots, if you look really close on that right jack, he wears an extra padding under the boot there. He wears knee boots and shin boots. They aren't decorations. He wears them for a reason. So he get into his jack, 1, 2, I got him straightened away, he hit his knee once, and then you can see him drop into his head check and take off. He wanted to win. And sure, I could have kicked the earplugs and I'm charging at Chris. Maybe I would have got him. I don't know. I don't think so. But there's a good chance I would have put him on the run. And that's definitely what I did not want to do. Poor horse, his first start without hobbles on. I wouldn't want to put him on the run. Imagine now if you're one of our partners. Momento Mory goes to race without hobbles on. I told you he trained down good. He looks good. He makes a break. His first start without hobbles. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Get the hobbles back on him. And he is good without them. So I apologize for anybody that bet him and is a little disappointed that he get driven that way. If I had got to the right coming out of the turn, I think I'm a winner. But he raced good. And he'll race better next week and next week. And I know, as a gambler, you don't care. We're trying to set him up for his 2025 season also. I want to see him get better and better and better. If I was just to throw caution to the wind, I would have left him on the front. He might have beat Chris. He might have held on. Might have won in 57. But I want him sharp as we go into the rest of the 2025 season. The one thing that he has that none of the horses in that race has is a full barrage of staking throughout 2025. So that's the take on our boy Momento Mory. Melisandre was good, but I had to put the hobbles on her a lot tighter tonight. The track is hard, and she did not score down. If you guys watch close in the post-parade, or if you happen to be here, I had to score down 2 or 3 times. Remember I told you she's such a sweetheart. Ducks her head, follows the gate, goes out, does everything perfect. She was a little uncomfortable tonight in the post-parade. Her feet have to be killing her. I'm going to have Dr. Latessa look very, very close to them tomorrow. I'd already spoke to Jason and texted him, listen, tomorrow morning, first horse Dr. Latessa looks at is Melisandre. She wasn't lame, but she was uncomfortable and she was sore. But I will say this about her. Here's a filly that's been off 2 weeks, won in 2 minutes at the Meadows. The Meadows is a much faster track than Northfield right now. She does not, and remember what I told you, wanted to duck her and have her finishing. Well, we're in a short field where really it was Aaron's horse and her. A couple other horses looked like they might be competitive, but those were the two that looked like the ones to beat. And I really didn't want to get in behind Nick's horse going into the first turn. I didn't know how good he was. On paper, he didn't look that good. And last thing I want to do is try and have to come first over or get stogged in behind somebody with Melisandre. If I'm going to get in behind somebody, it's going to be Aaron. And I didn't know what she'd do. When we come out of the first turn, would she continue her attack and get to the lead, or would she pull up a little bit? Because she's done that before. She did. I can tell you this. Melisandre did everything she could do tonight. And around the last turn, I kicked the earplugs and she trotted hard as she could right to the wire. That trip right there will serve her well next week. We will have her more comfortable. We will have her on point. Let her hobbles back out. If you watch going under, as I go past the wire, you can see me put my hand down. Well, as she's trotting as hard as she can, I'm letting her hobbles out just to see where that tether should be. Where she is the most comfortable, what length is the hobble at. And I guarantee you I let the hobbles out that far. So I'd say a good 3 or 4 holes, they'll go out next week when we have her good. She wasn't awesome tonight, but she raced as good as she could, and that is all that matters. Now, Yo Mister, again, got away near the back. He doesn't do his best work from back there, but when you have the 8-hole, what are you going to do? You know, there's not really much you can do. You have to take what you're given. I guarantee you, if Brett Miller draws south of 6 next week, it's going to be game on. So, sitting on a big mile, I know for my partners, it's frustrating to watch a horse get away last at the 5/8 when you know he doesn't do his best work from there, but we don't get to do the draws. He drew the 8-hole. That's the choice that Brett made with him today, and hopefully we have a run of luck where maybe we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the next 3 or 4 starts and get a real good run at a number of classes down there as we get into Scioto. So that is an outlook. I thought I would bring you the story. I couldn't believe it happened, but I guess upon watching the replay, I guess I can see how it happened, but a simple explanation. I would imagine cooler heads will prevail. Gamblers or otherwise, I have a responsibility to them, you, the gamblers, but also my clients and Momento Mory, and I did the best I could for everybody tonight. So I'm going to